time to remark very brief because we have the state party chairman here with us this morning. Tom Petro here. All of these guys tell us about what's happening all over the state. We're gonna do some good things for our county, our state, and our country. I intend to give it 125%. I'm only 100%. I'm going to go on up a notch this year because it's extremely important that we don't let our guard down. We have things going our way right now, but 6 months in an election year is an eternity. So we have to work harder than we've ever worked before. So I'm counting on all of you to do that. I received a letter in the mail yesterday that I'm going to read to you because it came from a 96-year-old woman that has worked as hard as she could for the Republican Party. In fact, at the Reagan Day dinner, we recognized her, and we got this letter yesterday, so I'd like to read it for the record. Dear Chuck, Sabrina, and the Craven County Republican Party, your recognition at the Reagan Day dinner Saturday, not privately, but publicly, of my working for, contributions to, and devotion to the party caught me by surprise. I care a great deal about the Craven County Republican Party, and anything I did has been a pleasure. Thank you for the dozen lovely white roses. My regret is that I cannot be as active in the future. Old age has finally caught up with me. God bless. Elder Richard Parker. Now, if she could do what she's been doing for 96 years, nobody in this room should let down their guard. We have got to work and work and work. So with that, I'm counting on all of you to do it, and I know you're going to do it, and I cannot wait for the election returns to come in on November the 2nd. It's now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this morning, Mr. Tom Petro, who is the chairman of the North Carolina State Republican Party. Tom is very well known around the state. He's the previous mayor of the state capital, Raleigh. He's been very involved in politics for many years, and it's my pleasure, and I know y'all will give him a big, warm welcome, Tom Petro.
We got work to do. Not time to celebrate this yet. You don't mind if I stand right there, you did. Okay. First of all, Chuck, thanks for having me here. I was here a year ago when we were in the midst of kind of a bruising state chairman's race, and Chuck invited me to speak at your convention and was one of my early supporters, and Chuck's an old friend, and I really appreciate his support. If we had 99 other county chairmen like Chuck, we'd be in really good shape. So Chuck, thank you for the job you're doing here in Craven County. He's a great guy. As a newlywed, I know you can't do anything without a great wife, and Chuck and I do have something in common. We way over married ourselves. And I think they'll be along in a minute. And for those of you who don't know, at the tender age of 54, I got married for the first time last year. And we're going to have a baby in July, and we're going to call it Harrison. So if you don't see me much in the month of July, you know what I'm up to. My good friend Norm Sanderson is here. I want to extract a promise from every one of you before I leave today that you will not rest until Norm Sanderson is elected to the state council. Norm is too good a guy, probably to be in politics. He's way too good a guy not to be in the General Assembly of North Carolina. And the performance gap between he and Alice Graham Underhill will be so large that the people of Craven County won't be able to believe how much better a representative Norm Sanderson will be. But he needs your resources, he needs your support. Write him a check today, look him in the eye and tell him you're going to knock on 100 doors and make 50 phone calls and do whatever else you need to do to get him elected. He may be the one seat that determines whether we're in a majority in the State House or not. And you don't want to feel responsible for us not being in the majority, do you? And my good friend Scott Dacey's here. Scott and I go back a long way. Scott did a Herculean task for our party, being the finance director, which is breaking arms to raise money Raising money for the party is a hard thing to do. Everybody wants to give money to candidates. No one wants to give money to the party. I'm finding that out. But one of the reasons I inherited a pretty fiscally sound party is because Scott takes his hard work raising money for the party. Now I want to talk to you about 2010, which presents us a historic opportunity. I mean, we are so lucky to be alive at a time and be Republicans at a time when we literally can change the direction of our state. And there aren't many people who have lived through history who could say, I lived at a time when history was made. And we can make history this year. But before we get into 2010, I want to talk to you about 2008 for a minute because it's important to deconstruct what happened to us and what we allowed to happen to us. So, the first thing that happened in 2008 is Barack Obama raised $782 million for his presidential campaign, which is sort of akin to Carolina scoring 250 points in a basketball game. That's how far he moved the paradigm. Raised $150 million in the month of September alone, which would have funded almost all the presidential races prior to his. And what that vast amount of money allowed them to do was, here in North Carolina, they opened 47 campaign offices, staffed by 400 paid people. And to put that in perspective, in the North Carolina Republican Party, we have 7 full-time paid staffers. What did those 400 people do in 2008? They registered 967,804 new voters in our state. Almost a million. So we went from 5 million registered voters to 6 million registered voters in the course of 1 year. 8 out of every 10 of those new registrants were Democrats or unaffiliated. And then those 400 paid staffers got together and voted 2.6 million people early in 2008, which was more than the number of people who actually voted on Election Day, and 3 times more than voted early in 2004. Pat McCrory actually won the governor's race on Election Day with 53% of the vote. But we got swamped in early voting because 7 out of every 10 of those 2.6 million people who showed up were Democrats or unaffiliated. That's the tidal wave that crested over the Republican Party in North Carolina in 2008, and it is why a Democrat nominee for president carried the state for the first time since Billy Carter's older, dumber brother won the presidency in 1976. So we got some work to do because the Democrats raised the bar on us in 2008. They raised a lot of money, they organized a lot of people, they had a lot of boots on the ground, they knocked on more doors, made more phone calls, contacted more voters, registered more voters than we did. And it's very important that we respond to that in 2010. And it's on all of us. We got to answer that. So let's talk about what the 2010 election is all about. And I would contend that there are local issues here in the county that local candidates will have to deal with, and Norm Sanderson will have some issues specific to Craven County he'll have to deal with. But mainly, this election is about him and her. Now, who's him and her? Barack and Bev is what this election is about, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about our president for a minute. He set the tone for his presidency in the first 60 days when he took that tour over the Middle East and bowed and scraped the princes and potentates and apologized to them for what America is and is about. And what he doesn't seem to understand is that job one of the American president is to stand up for the American people and not to go apologizing for who we are and what our historic position in the world has been.